reasonable flight path, I think it's fair to say. Now, there is one thing that I have done here. You may have noticed when I was on the screen where it shows my camera, I've moved my mic so it's kind of up. Hopefully that eliminates a little bit of some of the breathing noises coming through, but if it does sound weird, please feel free to LMK. And I can make adjustments if needed. I also think I need to do this because the sound is quite loud, but as it stands, so far it seems like we're not having any direct hot drops. There's a couple of shots being exchanged to teams within the vicinity of one another, but no one is actually just hard competing for drop locations as it currently seems. We did have a little bit of that, a little bit of the shenanigans coming through in this position, particularly in game 1 yesterday. QZ was the big dog, the man to do all the damage. Let's just turn that on. Forgot about that. It was right in this spot where Husey picked up about 7 knocks in the first 5 minutes of game number 1. This time, though, no one here other than just some long-distance shots to put in towards Jeff. The zone shifting down back towards the south. I feel like we've seen a lot of the southern side of Miramar so far in the first few matches of this. But we will have a full 63 players to try and contend for it. No early game deaths as of yet, but there's still time, particularly looking in this area for PUBG and friends. Very, very split, very separated in an awkward position, caught in the middle of multiple teams. Off to one side, you've got Fragile holding down in Monte Nuevo, and just outside, CCAT Gaming, who sent me their logo, and it's pretty cute. I mean, I don't do this often, but look at that thing. Look at that logo. Isn't he cute? He's so angry. Couple of others. Pretty sure this one is outdated, but they didn't send me the new one. Unlucky. This one I was told just Google it. So Morning Coffee have a lovely Google logo, and there we have it. All of our teams now properly tooled up, looking sharp, looking fresh. Toller already with a bolty shot in his direction. McKelly as well. This was just always a bit of an awkward tangle. They're kind of alternating. It's a couple of PUBG and friends up to the north, a couple of CG down towards the south, sort of intertwined between each other. Nothing more than just a couple of non-committal long-distance shots for the time being, though. And Foxy was a team that was quite often, particularly in the early stages of game, finding themselves well caught up within some shenanigans. A couple of hot drops here and there. This time around, though, more than happy to claim Picardo for themselves. No real threat, no real contention coming through. Bit of early movement from Vortex. Might just be early enough. Catch them out. Swift kill as Not Your Type is making the move in the vehicle. Easy peasy lemon. QZ. I'm going to presume that that's like a little bit of a bug, and he isn't actually, he is naked. It's not a bug, he is naked. You better get out of there swiftly. Shots coming into the back, and how he knows he is in some severe trouble, and he won't have a chance to make an exit before he is caught out, taken down by Jinhart. Elsewhere, it seems like there was a bit of a push that came through into this compound. Yes, Kenny J was found out and removed. That sort of separated drop not working out quite so well for PUBG and friends. Run over kill from Red Sea as they do catch Haring Pack a little bit separated from the rest of Vortex up in this compound. As we learn once again the same thing that we learned multiple times yesterday, that holding these wide four-way splits, even 2-2 splits in the early phase of the game at this point of an APAC Open qualifier is kind of suicidal. All of these teams more than happy just to like full send it, crash you and make a move, regardless of whether or not you have to be in the top 3. Like, they're more than happy just to run it down for a kill point or 2 every now and then. Looks as though we might be having a little bit of emergency parachutage coming through from the Jack boys. There it is. On the way over from El Azahar. Plenty of options of where they might want to end up. I wonder if Breakwater is considering the same thing as well. Super late movement out of Campo Militar. I think they have the better timing for it if it comes down to waiting for the phase 2 circle to pop and then choosing their overall destination. Jack boys are just going to make a move earlier. A couple of minutes still left to go. They are starting to disconnect steadily, one at a time. And it looks like the high ground will be the end goal, and that is completely free, completely vacant, so they will get away with it. Good early move. Only question is, will the phase 2 zone favor them? Will a team making a slightly later move who gains that information in the air have a slightly better time of it? If you're seeing a little bit of screen tearing, don't worry, because so am I. It's probably to do with I've limited my in-game FPS to 60, so I'm not overkilling my stuff while it's streaming. So there it is, another team in the plane. Team Extraordinaire was watching it. I don't know who that actually is. No, still no idea. Shots coming through around, in and around Red Sea, maybe? Not quite. The Charm Farmers, oh man. One other thing that we've learned multiple times yesterday is being on a bike is definitely not safe. Uzi. He's gonna cop that one. Pretty darn rough. Nades flying in as well. Heck, semi-committed, but the off angles of Invis and Guru is making it a little bit awkward, but the grenade from Tolla into those purple smokes of Maka will at the very least prevent the revive and make it much more awkward for the Charm Farmers to pick up the pieces. Again, the Charm Farmers, one of the teams that is up towards the top end of the standings, pushing in nearby into that top 3. But early losses will be mounting up, will be stacking up. Boxed in the background, looking to get some third-party shots in towards this, or at least just claim the information. Crazy 9. Just glancing over. Nothing too committed, though. Def again. Potentially suffering the same fate on a bike. Little bouncy, it's a little bumpy. 2 bikes, in fact. Very risky stuff. And there's the phase 2 zone. Nobody else actually making the play with the emergency pickup. Getting the drop, no parachutes in. So it's just going to be done the old-fashioned way. Breakwater on the move. Will be coming in late. Was to be expected. Looks as though PUBG and friends in a similar boat. I am going to, maybe in between rounds, I'm going to see if I can fiddle with the settings a little bit, because I'm not gonna lie, the screen tearing is getting right on me tits. So I'll see if there's... in fact, you know what? Let's do it now. Why not? There's something in here. Perhaps a VSync. We don't want VSync on, though, because that is a problem. So, yeah. Don't really know. Maybe just a game restart will do it. I have to do that anyway because we are missing a logo, which I have since been sent. Close range engagement now for the Jack Boys and Fragile. Pancake made this run before but gets flattened. Cobra Child is not faring too much better. Hutch can't get it done with the 3x from that close range angle, but the third party shots from distance, Aoki gives them a potential hint of reprieve. Cobra Child in the smoke just grabbing a quick heal, but Head on Point is actually reviving right next to him. He did not hear that. Hutch has had to fall back and get some revives of his own. Onyxuka is back up. Back in action. Popcorn not quite yet, but that is a fat grenade. Onyxuka didn't even take the time to heal, just tosses a grenade into the smoke of Fragile and gets a whole lot of damage done. Molotov doesn't quite reach, but Cobra Child should at least see where they're coming from. And once again, Boxed, creeping up in the background, looking for third-party points. Hutch taken down. GG Bet has a lot to deal with. He won't get it done. Head on Point with another one. Cobra Child. He might just try to back out of this, but of course we're in APAC. There is no backing out. He thinks about committing to it, but there's the third party from Egoist Art. He got here on foot. Does have his vehicle nearby, but little chance that they might just look to run him down, but he should get out of here just about in time, unless Onyxuka peeks up over the top. Cobra Child has gone down. He should hear this vehicle disappearing off. He will do. But he's not going to overpeak for it. Entirely fair enough. The rest of Box, meanwhile, have found another team, another engagement to third party towards. Sevi, just tossing out some utility in the direction of the last man standing of PUBG and friends, who have not had an easy time in this matchup. The awkward drop situation between themselves and Seacat Gaming has not worked in their favor. And he's on a bike, so it's possible that it gets worse. Okay, 5 kills already. Very solid start. Now they've got the logo buff. Be happy to see it. Similar zone to what we saw yesterday. This one, I didn't bring up the elephant in the room of the potential Los Leones zone. That was actually game 1 yesterday as well, but this one always looked a little more like it was going to shift away. No surprise that Red Sea will be one of the teams who is just going to back up and bolster down the position. They got this spot very early on. Now with a 2-2 split to hold down the fort as well. I'll be more than happy with that. Canucks just about grabbing themselves a spot under a lot of pressure from morning coffees. On the very southwestern tip of Los Leones, the high ground, making use of it while they can. Titan Foxy picking off Keith. The bike just not getting it done. It's always tough to try and rotate on a bike. Getting spammed out from everywhere at once. Very unfortunate. Big wide split area of control for Boxed. A lot of the area is pretty unplayable though, the low ground, but this is a spot that you can survive in for a while. I don't know if this is a survival play though. Making the push forward as a solo again, Egoist Art. Putting some pressure in. Now once more, we see the use of one of the new additions. Guru Well, they have lost half the team. He's got the level 3 gear. He's got the MK up there as well. This is the point where making the use of the emergency parachute does give you a slightly better idea of where you're going to be ending up in the late stages of the game, so you can make a move based on that. The push has come through. Igor start just straight in. Red Sea forced to regroup their 2-2 split. They're actually going to give up the opposite side of the compound. Maybe Vortex can just claim that for themselves. Sevi will secure the flush. Might have a chance to grab this revive. He can try and hold the fort down. Has Molotovs, has some utility that he can slow things down while the rest of the squad makes their approach. But that's not going to stop Super Dean from sitting Nottingham X down before he even gets a chance to get in the compound. They will eventually be 1-for-1 on a technicality. John Palmers have found themselves a drop position. It's okay. Survivable. In the shack they go. Worked out. They timed that well for the phase 4 shift, so they knew a better idea of where the zone would be heading towards. And they'll be happy to take it. Dusky just gets completely binned from the north with a bolty from Tindidi. Be revivable. Push isn't coming anytime soon. Not quite that aggressive from Titan Foxy. They're still mounting up in the vehicles. It's kind of a rough one. Big angle. Big open area that the Jack boys have to push through. It's not easy. Vortex will be holding them off. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Do they check? Do they check it first? Ah! No! They do not. They do not check it. And the Shack Masters have returned. Wow, that screen tearing is really cringe, isn't it? Well. Could have thrown a grenade in here, I guess. Or a flashbang or something. Once again. I mean, it's kind of a two-sided coin, right? Using the emergency parachutes means that you have no vehicles. But it also means that you can get into those kind of ratty positions without giving away your position, because they don't see a car parked nearby. So they don't really have a reason to think, oh, maybe there's someone in the shack. But there was. Absolutely pranked. Titan Foxy making their move in from the north, completely just sandwiched between Seakak and Tenax. A couple of tags underneath the vehicle. A re-exploit with the AK is never the prime real estate option. Making it work reasonably well at the very least, with Shoe Horse's grenades from the other side and Yarabara Badingi being the man to close the distance, putting even more pressure onto them. They're actually fighting around all these smokes now. Seakak getting another knock on towards Dusky. They seem to have run out of utility. One well-placed grenade could easily wipe out all the Titan Foxy squad, but they're just not quite finding the right angles for them. So they are surviving in the middle of all the madness. Leons does have a little bit more crawling to do before he's safe from the zone, but he should be revivable. Push over the top. Shoe Horse with the ace gets 2 quick knocks. Almost a third. Has to switch to the SLR. Spams him down and Dusky finishes the job. Great work from Shoe Horse and Dusky. Can't do it with the grenades. Just shoot them instead. It's always the motto of APAC. Darabara Bidengi a little over aggressive on the push around the side. Seakak has already got the revives. Jeff holding the back line. Forced to look the opposite way. So it is still a 2v4 to try and deal with for Shoe Horse and Dusky. Can't quite get the angle through the smoke. Dusky with no helmet. It's not looking particularly healthy. Big push battles all across the zone right now. Fighting for very little position. Don't think you can use that bike, my G. It's a little stuck. And they will eventually just give up and head off into the background, into the distance. Red Sea, after semi-committing to the engagement with Boxed on the northern compound, the concretes, actually backed away, gone back to where they originally were forced to give up their 2-2 splits. Sevi spotted out, using their own folded shield against them, but the angle of Aoki was not one that folded shield was deployed for, considering that it was his own teammate that deployed that earlier on. A couple of tags will force Sevi back inside. Breakwater, southern side of the zone. Two men standing. Ikigai with 3. Axel just dodging. All he can do for the time being. Rabs forced to the heel. Really provide much assistance. But they've got the zone positioning. That's something. See a wide wrap around the outside for morning coffee. It's going to be straight into the crosshairs of Baba Yaga, and Anubis. Spray will come through. Doesn't land any shots. Anubis, on the opposite hand, will absolutely land some shots. Maybe a K9 to follow up. Maybe a quick bolt. Perhaps? No. But Baba Yaga does eventually clean up their teammate who wrapped it the long way around. And Wuxagakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakakak Legionnaires hold down the northeastern side of the zone, and now they can use this massive plateau that they have available to them to take some peeks up over the top. I mean, look at the position of Extraordinaire. Tragics has perfect line of sight onto at least one. How survives somehow. 10x just seemingly made a bit of a play for the shack once again, and it went poorly. Not 100% where 10x even died there, but John Farmers, hey, they'll be happy with that. 4 kills on the board. The shack is definitely working out, and now Seakak just can't stop getting themselves into fights. Boxed will be the targets this time around. Quick peek from Palapetak. What's that red helmet of the opposition? And, oh, but this time he doesn't spot it that time. Leon's last man standing. He managed to get 1 knock, but it was traded back with 2. Breakwater out. We're in the top 8, so regardless, he can't get a placement point. It's something. That's good news. He'd be able to grab the revive. Possible dangerous angle if Red Sea start glancing in this direction, but they haven't for now. Boxed are back to as close to full strength as they can possibly be. With the flush that has come through, all at full health. Utility is somewhat lacking. Kidx is creeping. Looking if he can get an angle over the top in this direction as Legionnaires are finally making their push. Heading down towards the south, it's Ikigai. This Breakwater wasn't able to clean them up, but once again, Aoki from range with the mini. The third-partying shots are always just on point. Tragics, last man standing, up close with the 3x dealt with. And Anubis can be revived behind this rock as well, but he has to do it quite quickly. The zone's coming. I'm actually going to have to pick him up and carry him forwards somewhat. Guru knocked and cleaned up completely by a combination of Extraordinaire and Red Sea. Congratulations to my clanmates who just picked up a chicken dinner together. I really wish you could turn those messages off in-game, but you can't. But well done, lads. Let's get the clan to level 12. Get the cool new number thing. Ego. It's the better of the 1v1, but will cost him his life. A little too exposed. My kind of gameplay from Maselli. But Kid X spots him out. Smoke or no smoke. He can see him in prone in the dirt. Molotov through. Actually, Choff was carrying Showdef there. Still managed to get the Molotov out in time. Box will be eliminated. Extraordinaire continuing their dominant run in the top 5. They are under a lot of fire from a lot of angles, though. It's Red Sea and Legionnaires at more or less full strength each. Both staring down onto them. Now we have a rule here. Whenever we have a choice of watching DMR users versus bolts, we always watch the bolt, just in case. Because one of them will hit, eventually. Damn, that screen tearing is frustrating. If it's doing this next game, I'm just putting it back up to 144 and letting it do its thing, you know? Hit a body shot. Upper body shot, in fact. Zone is going to start forcing some of these teams to creep their spots forward. Kid X with a knock onto Red Sea. And a deployable shield. Where did he even pull that from? But that is huge, actually. It buys him a little bit more space. It's not in the zone. It at least gives him cover from up the hill. That is a huge threat that is covered now. Joff and Showdev have closed the gap. They've got up close, but they do need to be a little careful, because little do they know, Invis lurking in this spot. Should he just take a couple of steps to the side, might spot it out. But I think Showdev saw the bodies there. I think they might be aware. Oh, he was not ready. He was not ready for the flank. The gank has come through. Joff and Showdev. This is one of those situations where if you're in the position of Legionnaires, you think, how have they been allowed to make that push? Surely everyone else in the server is watching them in that little dip, but they just walk up the side anyway. It's 3 swiftly cleaned up. Onyxuka out of nowhere. He's been proning for so long. He's just dunked down 2 Red Sea players. That surely signals the push on the opposite side as well. How? You can get an angle towards it. Should be able to finish the job that was started. Just catches him out. Red Sea. Lose one. Kid X secures the flush. The spray almost caught the target through the long grass, but not quite. The grenade bounces over Onyxuka. Almost. Finishes Red Sea behind. Oh, Kid X, the smokes once again. Who needs them? Didn't pop up in time. Aoki, yeah, he's having a rough time as well. Yeah, Invis spotted out in the shack. He actually makes a move out to try and make something happen, but he cannot. It's a 1v4 for Aoki. Not a bad result overall for the Charm Farmers, given losing too early on, just dropping directly onto the shack that not only ended up copying a pretty solid 8-circle feed, but there was multiple teams that actually tried to take the shack for themselves, and Charm Farmers were just gifted a few kill points with it. I like that. Just making sure. Just checking. Now the utility spam comes through. Kid X dodges out enough bullets. How do you not get knocked there? I don't even understand that. Extraordinaire. Old logo, kind of stretched. Does not matter. They're in fine form. They were already 20 points clear in first place, and with 24 points in the first game of the day, I think it's fair to say no one is looking like they're going to catch them up. Very solid stuff from Team Extraordinaire, continuing on their form from yesterday's matches. Let's head to a quick break, and we'll come back for game number 2 as soon as we can, and I will try and fix this dang screen tearing. See you in a bit.